It seems like we haven't yet seen the last of the Ancient One in the MCU. Last seen in Avengers Endgame, the former Sorcerer Supreme is all set to return to the big screen in the upcoming sequel, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. As to how will that play out, we don't have much information. Since Ancient One pretty much died in the first Doctor Strange movie, we only saw her in Endgame because, the spoiler alert, Avengers traveled back in time to get the Infinity Stones to undo Thanos' snap. So it remains to be seen whether we will see another time travel or just some flashback sequence of her in Doctor Strange 2. But this video is not exactly about that. In this one we are going to talk about who is the more powerful sorcerer. Is it the Ancient One, or has Doctor Strange surpassed his master as he is supposed to be the best one that there is? But that said, best not always means the most powerful. So let's dive right into it. Doctor Strange vs Ancient One.
Strange is meant to be the best of us.
So he must have done it for a reason.
I fear you might be right.
The first Doctor Strange movie left no stones unturned to let us know that the Ancient One is the most powerful sorcerer of Earth's dimension. And that is further evident from the fact that she is actually the Sorcerer Supreme, which is a title awarded to the best sorcerer of a dimension. And the title of Sorcerer Supreme comes with its own perks, as the Sorcerer Supreme has at his disposal numerous powerful magical artifacts along with the access to the major pool of the magical and mystical energies of the universe. So given the fact that the Ancient One has been the Sorcerer Supreme of Earth's dimension for hundreds of years, and Doctor Strange hasn't yet been crowned as the new Sorcerer Supreme in the MCU, it seems reasonable to think that the Master of Mystic Arts has much more to learn before he earns this prestigious title. We know that MCU's Doctor Strange isn't yet Sorcerer Supreme, as neither we have officially seen that happen, nor anyone, including Wong, has addressed him as such. Doctor Strange himself says that he is the Master of Mystic Arts when he meets Thanos in Avengers Infinity War, rather than introducing himself as the Sorcerer Supreme. So I guess we'll have to wait at least till Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness to see him take on the title of the realm's best magician. But till then, the fact remains that the Ancient One was the Sorcerer Supreme when she died, whereas Doctor Strange is yet to claim that title. But here you might say that the title is just a formality and Doctor Strange is in fact as capable as the Sorcerer Supreme. But as discussed, the Sorcerer Supreme is more than just a title, as it had some powerful perks. But all that said, we have already seen Doctor Strange do some powerful stuff that Ancient One would be proud of, to say the least. For example, saving Earth for Dormammu and then fighting Thanos, who had 4 of the 6 Infinity Stones, and then devising a plan to save the universe from the Mad Titan. And last but not the least, for killing Tony Stark. Well, the last one might just be a pun, but you get the point. It has been made official that Doctor Strange spent years fighting Dormammu when they were caught in that infamous time loop. So Doctor Strange had a chance to practice his magic and sharpen his skills by battling one of the most powerful entities that there is, and that too for many years. And we can clearly see how much he had improved by seeing him in Thor Ragnarok. And then again in Avengers Infinity War, when he was going through those 14 million possible futures, he must have had a chance to try various stuff, and he seemed to have learned a lot. Just compare his fight with Ebony Maw from the beginning of the movie to that with Thanos towards the end. And you can tell that it is not the same Doctor Strange, because in some sense he is not. The second Doctor Strange is much more experienced, actually 1,000,000 times to be precise, than the first one. But the question is that enough? Because Ancient One too might have used the Time Stone to learn and experience things, just like Strange. And she says that in the first movie, that at numerous occasions, she used the stone to look into the future. So I don't think Doctor Strange has much of an advantage because of that. And the fact that in Avengers Endgame, we didn't see him do much other than saving thousands of his fellow beings and fighters in the battle against Thanos by stopping millions of gallons of water that would have flooded the area and killed thousands. But still, we didn't see him take on Thanos. But as we know, it was all part of his grand plan, the 1 in 14 million, which indeed ended up in Thanos' defeat. So I guess you can't hold that against him, as it was just his plan to do so. Here let's not forget that Time Stone was the most powerful weapon of Strange, and he used that to defeat Dormammu and then again used it to outsmart Thanos, and on top of that to gain thousands of years of experience in relatively no time. So without the Time Stone, can Doctor Strange take on Ancient One? As she has lot of tricks up her sleeve, the Ancient One was able to channel Dark Dimension's energy without being corrupted, and this capability greatly increased her powers, especially in the Mirror Dimension. So given the fact that we haven't seen a Strange do something like that, it is reasonable to give the Ancient One an edge on this one. And that's not all. Ancient One had her own books of some pretty advanced magic, and she might have ended up contributing to the development of the realm of magic with new spells and new rituals that she taught her students over the course of her life. So in some sense, she had some sort of PhD in her field, and that too multiple. And she had even mastered some dark magic stuff without being corrupted. Now that is too big of a feat to be ignored. So the more we talk about it, more evident it becomes that Doctor Strange is not quite there yet. He at least needs to gain the title of the Sorcerer Supreme to be even considered as an equal to the Ancient One. But there is one aspect that downplays the power of the Ancient One, and it has to do with the Avengers Endgame. But we'll talk about that in some another video. And with that, we'll bring this video to an end. Thanks for watching, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more upcoming content.